Hey, my friend. Today, I want to tell you something that might sound crazy to some people. How I became fluent in English in just 6 months. Yes, 6 months. No shortcut, no magic trick, no living in an English-speaking country. Just dedication, the right mindset, and some very specific strategies. I know how frustrating it feels when you try so hard to speak in English, but the words just don't come. You think in your native language, you try to translate it in your head, and by the time you figure out the sentence, the conversation has already moved on. I've been there. So, I made it my mission to fix that. Not just speak English, but think in English. Speak fluently, confidently, and naturally, like it's a part of me. And today, I want to share my entire journey with you, step by step. What worked, what didn't, what I changed, and how you can do it too. This is not just about English. It's about believing in yourself and doing something most people give up on. Let's go. The beginning. I couldn't say a full sentence. I remember the day I realized I needed English. I was in a job interview, and the interviewer asked me, "Tell me something about yourself." And I froze. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I didn't know how to say it in English. I came out of that room embarrassed, frustrated, and honestly, angry with myself. That's when I made a decision. I gave myself 6 months. 6 months to learn English like a native speaker, to become fluent, not perfect, but fluent enough to express myself naturally. Now, I'll show you exactly how I did it, month by month. Month 1. Building the foundation, the mindset, plus the plan. The first thing I realized was English is not just a language you learn, it's a skill you train, like going to the gym. You don't get muscles by just watching workout videos. You have to practice. So I made a rule. English every single day. No 0 days. Here's what I did. 1. I stopped translating. Before this, I used to think in my native language and translate. It was slow and stressful. So I trained myself to think in English. Even simple things like, I am brushing my teeth. It's a beautiful day. I'm feeling sleepy. This way, English became part of my daily brain activity. 2. I chose only English input. I changed my environment. My phone was in English. I watched YouTube in English, even cooking videos. I listened to podcasts while walking. I created an English world around me. No subtitles, no translation, just immersion. 3. I talked to myself. Every night I talked to myself in English, out loud in front of a mirror. I know it sounds silly, but it worked like magic. I didn't need a partner. I became my own speaking partner. Topics like, how was my day? What do I want to do tomorrow? Why am I learning English? This gave me confidence without fear of judgment. Month 2. Vocabulary that matters. Not too much, just enough. At this point, I realized I didn't need big words. I needed useful words. 1. I focused on high-frequency words. I made a list of 1,000 most common English words. I learned 20 to 30 new words a day, but only useful ones I can use in real life. Instead of learning words like juxtaposition or metamorphosis, I learned actually, maybe, because, already, suppose. I made sentences with every word I learned. Example, word, already. Sentence, I already ate lunch. 2. I used the words. Daily learning words is useless unless you use them. So whenever I learned a new word, I used it the same day in my self-talk or writing. Month 3. Speaking practice. No partner, no problem. Now I was ready to speak more confidently, but I had no English-speaking friends. Still, I practiced like crazy. 1. Shadowing technique. I watched English videos, paused after every sentence, and copied the way they said it. Same pronunciation, same rhythm, same tone. This made my speaking smooth and natural. Great channels for this: English speeches, TEDx talks, Emma from Ma English. I didn't just listen. I shadowed every single word. 2. I recorded myself. I started recording myself speaking. Topic example: what I did this week, my favorite movie, why I want to learn English. I would listen to my recording, compare it to native speakers, and notice my mistakes. It was like coaching myself. Month 4. Thinking like a native, everyday fluency. Now my confidence was higher. I started noticing that I was thinking in English more automatically. Here's what changed. 1. I started using phrases, not just words. Instead of memorizing vocabulary, I started learning phrases. Examples: I'm not sure, but I think. That's a good point. It depends on the situation. Phrases gave my speaking a natural flow. 2. I used English to learn other topics. I started watching videos about psychology, business, and science, all in English. That's when I realized English was no longer just a language. It was becoming my thinking tool. Month 5. Mistake time, and why that's good. Now I was speaking more, but I was making mistakes. And that's a good thing. 1. I let myself make mistakes. I used to be afraid of making mistakes, but then I realized every mistake is a lesson. I kept speaking, kept writing, kept listening. Mistakes helped me improve faster. 2. I got feedback. I joined a few English communities online, Facebook groups, Reddit forums, language exchange apps like Hello Talk. I posted short recordings or written stories and asked for corrections. Some people helped, some didn't, but it pushed me forward. Month 6. Fluency mode activated. This was the month I realized I was fluent, not perfect, but fluent. I could hold a 30-minute conversation, watch a movie and understand 90%, write a full email or article in English. How? Because I had practiced daily. I had done it without going abroad, without expensive courses, just smart strategy, focus, and repetition. My daily routine for 6 months. Here's how a typical day looked during my fluency journey. Morning, 15 minutes. Listen to a podcast while brushing my teeth, walking, or making breakfast. Afternoon, 30 minutes. Watch an English YouTube video, no subtitles. Pause and repeat phrases. Evening, 15 minutes. Talk to myself in English. Describe my day. Express my feelings. Night, 10 minutes. Read a short English article or write a short journal in English. That's it. Less than 1.5 hours a day, but every day. It's the beginning of something bigger. What happens after the 6 months? How do you maintain fluency? How do you go from fluent to confident, natural, and maybe even native-like? Let's dive in. Life after fluency. The real journey begins. So after I became fluent in 6 months, I thought, that's it, I've made it. But then something interesting happened. I realized fluency is like reaching the top of a mountain, only to discover there's another mountain behind it. 1. From fluent to effortless. Yes, I could speak English fluently now, but I wanted to speak effortlessly. What's the difference? Fluent, tasti. You can speak without pausing too much and you're understood. Effortless. You speak like it's your first language. Natural, smooth, no overthinking. To reach that level, I had to polish and sharpen my skills, like a sculptor shaping a statue. 2. I focused on tone, not just grammar. I started noticing how native speakers express emotions in English. It's not just about grammar, it's about rhythm, tone, and feeling. For example, yeah, right, can mean agreement or sarcasm, depending on the tone. Really? Can sound shocked, curious, or even annoyed, again, based on tone. So I began watching scenes from movies and TV shows, not just for what they say, but how they say it. Pro tip: try repeating one line from your favorite movie exactly like the actor. Match the voice, speed, and emotion. Pronunciation. The fluency secret. Most people ignore. You don't need a perfect accent to be fluent, but pronunciation helps people understand you clearly. So here's what I did. 1. I practiced sounds that didn't exist in my language. Every language has sounds that are hard to pronounce if they don't exist in your native language. For me, it was the th sound in think or that. The difference between ship and sheep, stress in words like present, noun, and present, verb. I used a free website called Youglish, where you can type a word and hear native speakers use it in real videos. I repeated those words again and again until they felt easy. 2. I practiced linking words. Native speakers connect words when they speak, like want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna, did you becomes did ya. So I trained my mouth to say, I'm gonna eat now. Did you watch that movie? What you doing? This made my speech more natural, not robotic. Advanced techniques I started using. Once I was comfortable, I explored some more advanced methods to stay sharp. 1. I imitated TED speakers. I would watch TED Talks and imitate everything: voice, rhythm, pauses. One of my favorites was Simon Sinek. His clear, slow, powerful delivery helped me train my own style of speaking. 2. I practiced speech sprints. This is a fun trick. Set a timer for 2 minutes and talk about anything in English without stopping. No translation, no script, just speak. Even if you say or keep going. This trained my brain to think and speak faster in English. Writing. An underrated fluency tool. Most people ignore writing, but I used it to become a better speaker. Why? Because writing helps you organize your thoughts in English. Here's what I did. 1. Daily journaling in English. Every night, I wrote 5 to 10 lines about my day in English. It helped me practice grammar naturally without memorizing rules. 2. I wrote social media posts in English simple Facebook status, a short Instagram caption, a comment on YouTube. It felt like small wins, but all in English. Over time, this helped my sentence building and vocabulary. Thinking in English, my permanent habit. One of the most powerful things that happened after 6 months? English became my default language for thinking. When I'm walking alone, I think in English. When I plan my goals, I write them in English. Even when I dream, sometimes it's in English now. That's when I knew I didn't just learn English. I became an English speaker. Questions. People always ask me, let me answer some of the common questions I get. Q1. Can I become fluent without living in an English-speaking country? Yes, I did. You can too. The internet is your English world now. YouTube, podcasts, books, chat apps, it's all possible. Q2. What if I make mistakes when I speak? Good. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be understood. Confidence grows through action. Q3. How much should I practice every day? Even 1 hour a day is enough, but be consistent. Language is not a sprint. It's daily jogging for your brain. Q4. What if I have no partner to practice with? Talk to yourself. Record yourself. Join online communities. You are never alone if you have Wi-Fi. One big lesson. Attitude is everything. Let me tell you something real. There were days when I felt tired. Days when I doubted myself. Days I felt like I was not improving. But I reminded myself of one thing. Every single word I practice today brings me one step closer to fluency. It's not about being the smartest. It's about being the most consistent. I didn't study textbooks. I didn't take expensive classes. I just made English part of my life. And it worked. Bonus. My 10 simple tips to fluency. Print these. Talk to yourself in English every day. Listen to English content, no subtitles. Learn phrases, not just words. Record your voice and listen to it. Practice English thinking during daily routines. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Welcome them. Use new words within 24 hours after learning them. Watch and imitate native speakers. Write in English. Journaling helps your mind stay sharp. Believe fluency is not a gift. It's a skill you can build. Hi, my name is Arjun. I want to tell you the true story of how I became fluent in English in just 6 months. Not perfect, not like a native speaker, but fluent enough to speak clearly, express my thoughts confidently, and finally feel free in conversations. Before this, English used to scare me. I'd avoid situations where I had to speak it. I would smile and nod, even when I didn't understand something. And the worst part? I felt small, like I was missing out on opportunities, connections, and even my self-worth. So let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in a small town in India, where English wasn't spoken much. At school, we studied English like a subject, tenses, grammar rules, essays, but nobody taught us how to speak. I passed exams, wrote essays, and even scored well, but when it came to talking, my mouth would freeze. After college, I applied for jobs. Many interviews were in English. I remember one very clearly. The HR manager looked at my resume and asked, "Tell me about yourself." That one question broke me. I knew the answer in my head, in Hindi. But when I tried to say it in English, I couldn't speak more than 2 sentences. I fumbled, mixed tenses, forgot words, and finally went silent. I didn't get the job. That day, I came home and sat quietly. My parents tried to cheer me up, but I was ashamed, not because I didn't get the job, but because I felt helpless in my own skin. I decided something that night. Enough is enough. I gave myself 6 months. No more excuses. I promised myself, I will become fluent in English, no matter what. Month 1. Total immersion. I knew I couldn't afford expensive courses, so I turned my world into an English world. First, I changed my phone language to English. Then I unfollowed most content in Hindi and subscribed to English channels. Every morning, while brushing my teeth, I'd play an English podcast. Not grammar lessons, just natural English conversations. In the beginning, I didn't understand much, but I kept listening. I also started speaking to myself, in the mirror, in my room. I'm brushing my teeth. I have an interview tomorrow. I feel nervous but excited. At night, I'd look at myself in the mirror and talk like I'm telling someone about my day. I was shy at first, but slowly it became fun. Month 2. Daily speaking practice. I made a rule, no day without English speaking. Even if I spoke to myself for just 10 minutes, I did it every single day. I watched YouTube videos and repeated after the speaker. This is called shadowing. I'd pause the video, copy their sentence, then move on. I started with simple English vloggers, like people sharing their daily routines. The biggest breakthrough came when I stopped thinking in Hindi. I told myself, no translation. Even if I said something wrong, it didn't matter. The goal was to make my brain feel English. Month 3. Vocabulary that made sense. I stopped memorizing hard words. Instead, I wrote down the most common words I heard every day. Words like, maybe already actually, even though I guess I created my own vocabulary notebook. But instead of writing meanings, I wrote sentences with each word, like, I already ate dinner. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. Actually, I don't agree. This helped me use the words instead of just remembering them. Month 4. Recording and reviewing. By now, I could speak short paragraphs, but I wanted to improve my fluency and catch my mistakes, so I started recording my voice. I'd pick a topic like my weekend, a movie I watched, why I want to improve English. Then I'd speak for 2 minutes and listen to the recording. It felt weird at first. I hated hearing my voice. But soon I got used to it. I noticed my common mistakes, saying he go instead of he goes, repeating the same word again and again, speaking too fast. I worked on them slowly, one by one. Month 5. Confidence explosion. Something beautiful happened this month. I had a video call with a friend who lived in the UK. He was shocked. Bro, you've improved so much. You sound fluent now. That compliment meant everything to me. It boosted my confidence. I started commenting in English on YouTube videos, replying to English tweets, and even helping others who were just starting their English journey. I realized one powerful truth. Fluency is not just about speaking, it's about being fearless. Month 6, Real World Practice. Now I wanted real conversations, so I joined online speaking groups. I used apps like HelloTalk and Tandem, where people practice languages together. I spoke with people from Nigeria, Russia, Brazil, all in English. Sometimes I got stuck. Sometimes I made silly grammar mistakes. But I kept speaking. I also started watching English web series without subtitles. First, I didn't understand everything, but I kept watching. I started noticing expressions, phrases, tone, and natural English rhythm. That's when I realized I'm fluent. Not perfect, but fluent. Where I am today. Today, I attend job interviews confidently in English. I help my younger cousins speak English at home. I read English books. I think in English. And yes, sometimes I even dream in English. And the most amazing part? I did all of this without leaving my country, without expensive coaching, and without a partner. I did it with daily practice, self-belief, and consistency. If I could go from scared and silent to fluent and free, so can you. After I realized I had become fluent, something unexpected happened. People started asking me for help. My cousin, who was just starting college, asked me, "Paya, how did you become so good in English? Can you teach me too?" At first, I laughed and said, No, I'm not a teacher." But he said something that made me pause. "You speak in a way I understand, not like teachers, like a real person." That hit me hard, because when I was learning, I didn't learn from textbooks or teachers. I learned from real people, in real situations. So I told him, "Okay, I'll help you, but on one condition: no grammar books, no pressure. Just talk to me in English every day for 10 minutes. He agreed. That's how it started. Every evening, we would sit on the terrace and talk in English. I'd ask him, "How was your day? What did you eat? What's your favorite movie and why?" In the beginning, he spoke slowly. He mixed Hindi with English, but I never stopped him. I never corrected him while he was speaking. I just encouraged him. And guess what? Within 2 months, his hesitation started disappearing. That's when I realized helping others improve their English actually made my English stronger too. How my life changed. After fluency. Before I learned English, I was always nervous in public settings. At work, during team meetings, I would avoid speaking. In social gatherings, I stayed quiet when people switched to English. But now, everything changed. Here's what fluency gave me, not just in language, but in life. 1. Confidence. I no longer feel like I'm less than someone just because they speak English better. I walk into interviews with my head held high. I ask questions, give opinions, and connect with people from different countries. 2. Better job opportunities. When I updated my resume and added fluent in English under skills, companies started taking me more seriously. One day I got a call from a company based in Bangalore. The interview was completely in English, and for the first time, I actually enjoyed an interview. I didn't just answer. I shared stories, gave examples, and even made the interviewer laugh. They hired me with a 40% salary hike. 3. Global friends. Thanks to language exchange apps, I now have friends from Mexico, Turkey, and Japan. We talk about cultures, food, weather, and life, and we all use one bridge to connect: English. I realized learning English is not just about speaking a language, it's about opening your world. How I maintain my fluency. Now, fluency is not a destination. It's a habit you must keep alive. Here's what I still do, even today, to maintain and improve my English. Daily exposure. Even now, I listen to at least 30 minutes of English every day. Podcasts, YouTube videos, or audiobooks. Anything I enjoy. Speaking, I still talk to myself. Sometimes while cooking, sometimes before going to sleep. It's like meditation, but in English. Reading, I started with simple English novels like The Alchemist. Now I read newspapers like The Hindu and online blogs about productivity, finance, and mindset. Teaching others. Whenever I get time, I help beginners. I answer questions online. I guide my friends who feel stuck. Teaching helps me go deeper. When someone asks, "Why do we say I have been working instead of I am working?" I go and research it, and that deepens my own understanding. If you're just starting, listen to me. If you're someone who still feels nervous while speaking English, please remember this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Fluency doesn't come from studying. It comes from using. Talk to yourself. Think in English. Listen more. Speak more. Mistakes are part of the journey. Don't be afraid. Don't wait for the right time. Make today your day one. Because 6 months from now you will either say, "I wish I had started," or "I'm so glad I didn't quit." I chose the second one. Now it's your turn. A message to everyone who feels left behind, to the student who hides during English class, to the job seeker who avoids interviews because of fear, to the mother who wants to help her kids with English homework but feels unsure, to the boy in a small town who thinks English is only for the rich or educated. Let me tell you, I was you, and now I'm fluent. Not because I'm special, but because I practiced. Every day, no excuses. You can do this. Start small. Start with one word, one sentence, then 2, then 5, then a full conversation. You don't need to move abroad. You don't need fancy courses. You just need your voice, your heart, and a little bit of daily courage. This is my story, and I'm still writing it. Fluency didn't change just my language. It changed my identity. It gave me freedom, opportunities, and the power to help others rise too. If you're ready, your journey starts today. One word at a time. Would you like me to turn this story into a short film script, a podcast dialogue, a social media post series?